Yeah, so well, moving on, there's been a lot of moves in for coaching today. Actually, just in a matter of mere minutes before I went live, there was another big move that just happened, and the Minnesota Vikings have agreed to a deal to bring 39-year-old Kevin O'Connell back. I can't believe the dude is 39 years old, man. That's just wild, man. That he's a head coach and already on his
America's
next
coach
contract.
right there, man.
Yeah,
America's coach.
Kevin O'Connell went 14-3 last season, which is the second most wins in franchise history. G Mike, how do you feel about this deal, man? I think this is an absolutely amazing deal for the Minnesota Vikings. They're still like I was saying too. This just came out, so they're still working on the kinks about how much the deal is going to be worth and the extension of it. But he's going to be getting paid pretty well, though.
No, definitely. I agree. I think this is a great deal for the Minnesota Vikings. He's proven time and time again since he's been there that he could win in the regular season and he could take them to the playoffs. Obviously, they haven't gone anywhere in the playoffs, but that has to do with more of personnel, in my opinion. But he's a leader of men. They listen to him. He knows how to win. He knows how to put up points. He knows how to make an offense great. So I feel like it was a no-brainer for them to extend him. And there's going to be a lot of wins in the winning column for Minnesota in the upcoming seasons, and they're going to be happy to have given him this extension.
Yeah, I know. And you know what? You know what was pretty wild too is I wanted to ask you guys about this as well. That there was a bunch of rumors that he was going to possibly be traded. BC, would you ever trade for a coach? Would you ever do that?
I mean, you're asking the wrong guy for that. We traded for Gruden back in like 02, and it worked out for us. We got a Super Bowl. Well, we got a Super Bowl, but we got it with Dungy's team. But that's for another day. But I mean, if they traded him, it would be. I'm curious to see how much. Like, I mean, I could see them maybe trade him to Las Vegas. Like, they're just that desperate for good head coaching. But it's like you would have to fork over your draft rights for the first and second rounds for the next like 2 or 3 years, especially with the success that he had in Minnesota. With again, we were writing the Vikings off as they're going to finish dead last in the division, especially with McCarthy going down. Sam Darnold's going to start. Like, what are we talking about? But he really helped guide that team. And again, towards the end of the season, you're going up against a great team in Detroit. You're playing a really tough Rams team. Like, it's not going to be, they were very difficult matchups. I think that just the fact that they got that 14-win season and they made it to the playoffs after going through what they went through in the offseason, it's remarkable. And I think Kevin O'Connell's a big test of that. And I wasn't really surprised to hear about the extension at all.
Yeah, no, I wasn't either. And honestly, going just back over it, like you mentioned a little bit ago, it's kind of wild. He's only been there since 2022. And so if you think back on this, he's had to win games with Kirk Cousins, Josh Dobbs, Sam Darnold, Jaron Hall, and I want to say it was Nick Mullins as well, I think was still there maybe. Man, the guy's one with pretty much anybody out there. So shout out to Kevin O'Connell for being one of the young guys out there. He's a great coach. I like Kevin O'Connell a lot, and it's wild too because he has a different style too than he does than the other coaches in that league now. I mean, you got Dan Campbell, who's like the big guy, the tough meathead guy and stuff. O'Connell's more of that, like give you a hug, give you the moral support kind of thing. Do you guys think that there's a better? It depends on your personnel, or is there a better coaching style? It just depends on who you are, maybe.
I think it depends on your personnel. Yeah. G-Mike, you were going to say something.
No, I agree. I think it depends on the personnel. I don't think, and even then, like, let's say in Dan Campbell's situation, right? We'll compare him to Kevin O'Connell, what you were just saying. Yeah, he's a tough-minded coach, and he's brutal, and he shows force, and he'll tell you how it is. He'll be blunt, and he's not gonna beat around corners. He's not gonna beat around the bushes. But I'm pretty sure there's still players on the Detroit Lions that probably get ticked off at it. They probably feel some kind of way. They probably get sensitive. They probably don't like it. But it could just all be worked out with a simple conversation. And like, coach, can we talk for a second? Can we close the door, just me and you, one on one, and hash this out? That's all you really need at the end of the day. And the same thing will go with Kevin O'Connell, because if he's being all nice and kind and being super respectful and whatever, maybe one of those players disrespects him in some sort of way, and then he brings them in. He's like, yo, we need to talk one-on-one. Yo, I don't like the way that you talk to me like that, blah, 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 and whatever. You hash it out. You just talk like grown men. But yeah, I feel like it just depends on the personnel and the type of person that you are. People have to know who you are, and you have to know how people are to deal with.
Yeah. Well, and also too, I think it's like the city and the culture that you've built as well. Like Detroit is known very much for being a very tough-minded, grinded out kind of city. That's just how they've always been. Bad boy Pistons, throw that back to basketball way back in the day. That's just the city's identity. Minnesota, yeah, it's up north. You know, it's very frigid, snowy, cold. You know, Vikings, tough, like that kind of mentality. But they also Minnesota, at least the personality of the state, the city, really, it's more been kind of more even keel, a little bit more chill, a little bit more relaxed. So you kind of, even in the same division, you can go from literally one extreme to the other. You know, just to kind of go back though too, like with just to kind of go back to
technical difficulty.
Woo, you gotta love live, man. You gotta go. You gotta love live.
Back. Stevie B, Houdini, right here.
I just wait and go. Where'd he go?
Hosting a show and disappeared, man. There's nothing better.
Does it mean I get a pay grade?
I guess, man.
Mike, you're the host now. So,
jeez.
So yeah, it can really depend on where, you know, what the culture is like where you're at, and it doesn't even matter what division you're in. You can have two completely opposite style coaches in the same division, and it all works. It works all the same. There was literally just a difference of one win, and then a difference of one extra game in the postseason this year. So I think both styles can work really well, just depending on who you got.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, and I just thought that was kind of wild. They were talking about possibly trading him. I wonder what the trade deal was going to be. They never really see what it came to fruition, but I would love to know what they were going to try to get for him and who was actually asking. I haven't heard that. I just heard that there was a possibility they might have been traded, but